a template to see as well.
Okay. Yeah, and it's not that anybody's asking anybody to change anything necessarily. It's just that it's quite fascinating to watch what happens with the medical group who haven't got their diplomas properly organized, and it's just a series and series and series and series and series of outcomes, but they're not clustered together under anything. So, for example, if you're getting them to do logbooks for their cases, so where does that fit in? Where does that fit in terms of your learning outcomes? You have to have a learning outcome that addresses that, and where is that? And so when I'm looking through all this stuff, I never find that, and yet I know that that is an assessment that you do. So I get people to put that in somewhere, and then we talk about what those logbooks should actually look like in terms of how you're going to assessment, how you're going to get the rubrics and stuff like that done. So, and that's when I've been working separately with people outside of Cuddle. So, you know, when I worked with Robert and Rivi, and I don't think we did the emergency medical thing yet. But a lot of the other programs that are coming down the line that are being reviewed, we try to get them in an order that makes sense, because everybody says, well, it's just a 4-year program. Well, but you have milestones that they have to achieve somewhere along the line. You just don't let them go for 4 years. And so every internships and residencies in every program around the world basically has the same philosophy. How you deliver it might be slightly different. So
yeah, I haven't seen our curriculum come up for reevaluation.
Right now we're working on clinical and paraclinical ones.
Right. The postgraduate programs, because a lot of the postgraduate programs have been around for so long. And remember, the other thing is to change the curriculum, you basically have to get buy-in from all 3 or 4 campuses. And that actually becomes a difficult thing, because we do the reason why we actually have the diploma program as part of the Cuttle format is the diploma program is only done in Trinidad. So we were able, and it's a more recent program, so we were able to set up that following the Cuttle standard from the get-go.
Yeah.
A lot of these other programs, they've had the curriculums, which is basically just a list.
Yeah.
There's really been no motivation to sort of update them or change them.
Until they come to Cuddle, and then they work on it. So having some people in the last cohort stimulated the paraclinical group to get their act together, because they now have courses. They're now starting to pull them through into courses. They're now starting to cluster those things around, away from the book that they used to give the students. Not to say that checkbook isn't important, or that checklist isn't important for students, because it actually is. It's more about how then do you do the accreditation. And if you're going to go for accreditation across multiple countries, you have to have some format that is similar to all of them, right? So anybody else have any questions? Anything content-wise?
I would like a comment.
Yep.
Right. The same, is it possible to make a Word document, not a interactive, have to click this, go there, right? Just a Word document with a checklist of all we need to do? Because for me, and if the whole Cuttle philosophy is to be believed, it's supposed to try and cater for as many people as possible. Right? For the way I think, and especially as bulk of us are from medicine, right? A lot of us are very cut and dry. Give me this, tell me do this, and I do it. The end.
Yes,
right?
I know.
Right?
I have these discussions all the time, Michael. So what you're asking me for what you're asking me for is something different than what you said at the end. So what you're saying is that, and so who was telling me this one time? Dave Haran said to me, he would like to know what it looks like up front and then work towards that. And there's value in that, because that actually has to do with Gagne's 9 steps of instruction. So thank you. So there is value in that. The value in it is that it helps you potentially, if you learn that way. other flip of the coin is, I've just told you, I've just given you an example, and you're just going to do that example. And so you're not going to think outside the box. You're not going to be creative. You're not going to be innovative.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking to say, do it like that. I'm asking, like, the assignments and the works that we have to do. I'd like a list. Yeah, so I'd like a list. And I accept that it is there in a format. But the format right now is click on your calendar and click on this and go into this module and go into that, which I find confusing.
Okay, so you want a list.
I want a list. Michael, on the 10th, you have to do this. And then how I do it.
Oh, you want that kind of a list.
Yeah, I still have.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't have a list in terms of the due dates, because I'm somewhat flexible about the due dates, right? So, so I give you suggestions of the due dates, but it's not cut and dry. Whereas for other people, it's very cut and dry. But I can certainly create a list. I have a list. When I give you your grades back, when I give you everything back, I have a sheet of paper that it's called a summation.
Yeah.
But I can send that to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else?
No, I think that's good.
Good.
I will have everyone known that that cuttlefish rules this conversation.
I'm noticing that.
Because we are the best.
You're the best.
We're the best.
Well, one of the groups I know was meeting at 10 face to face. So not that I'm there, but so they weren't going to come on. So the idea for one thing, for meeting virtually is because it helps you learn how to use Zoom as we're going along. And you use Zoom in Kettle 5106. So and it also helps people stay connected to each other. Yes, Cuddles. Fish is the best. That's what my group chat is telling me over here. So
my group has been decimated by exemptions. So we
yes.
We only have 3 people now.
Okay. You only have 3 people. Sometimes that's better.
Well, I mean, no, the people, they still give a certain amount of input, so that's cool. We still have our group chat, so that's helpful.
So one of the people will join back though in 5104 though, because one of the people only got 1 exemption. They didn't get exempted totally from Cuddle.
I believe Andrea is joining.
Yeah, nobody got exempted totally from Cuddle out of your cohort.
Mm-hmm. So no, it's fine, because it's really just, we've already gone through the stuff that we need to do for the group assignments. It's really.
I know you're the only guy in the group, so that's kind of an interesting experience. Are you the only guy in there?
I am, actually. Oh no, that's not any different to medicine these days. 80% of the medical staff are female, so you kind of get used to it.
Oh, so think of the forefathers in medicine back in. So let's look. Was it 150 years ago that the first women were allowed into Scotland, into medical school in Edinburgh, something like that? So if we think about that, it says they're probably turning over in their graves. Those guys before that, going what?
You think medicine is that?
Aren't women at home?
Veterinary medicine is 90% female.
Well, aren't women at home having babies? Isn't that their role? It's supposed to be the role?
Not for a long time. In fact, UE has almost an 80% attendance rate of major female now.
Well, I have been in many discussions with my male colleagues during certain time procedures when we're in the CAT scan room or whatever, about them talking about when somebody gets pregnant and how that disrupts the rotation, But do you want your female partner to be having a baby when she's 40 after she's finished everything? Oh, that's a question, eh? So.
Indeed.
Here, I will unmute you there so you can join us.
Sati's, yeah.
Sati, there, Sati, you're unmuted.
Hello.
Yeah, we've unmuted you.
Ah, very good.
So
Sorry, I'm late.
you're late. Are you in your car?
I am in my car. I'm actually at a mandatory casebook meeting with the university. So I have to go because that starts in about a half an hour.
Okay.
Where we determines whether students write or don't write the exam. So I'm sitting in the parking lot at Mount Hope, waiting for it to start.
So I'm impressed that you've got your Zoom on your phone, and or is this your fancy car you got it in?
No. My car is a regular car, regular messy car like everybody else.
Okay. So you don't own a Porsche or something like that, like some of them own.
I do not. I assure you, I do not own a Porsche.
I'm driving my 17-year-old.
I'm not Michael Morris.
Do you have a Porsche, Michael?
No, I have a BMW, but I am driving my 17-year-old Peugeot right now.
Oh.
BMW is down.
What about you, Vin? What do you drive?
Volkswagen.
I just like to tease everybody about their vehicles because I find it funny that that someone would have a Porsche because you can't really drive it fast. And I just assume the reason that people like to have a Porsche or a Jaguar is for the fastness. But then it was pointed out to me it's a status symbol, and I went,
Power is a power.
Power. I thought it was always the power, but where are you going to drive the vehicle? And so then I said, oh, I know what it is. You physicians must have a special little pass that lets you on the priority one and just put it to the floor. But I was told you don't have a special pass. So
We do not.
I'm just teasing y'all. It's always good for a little bit of laugh, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, you have a special little license plate on your car. It says MD something or other on it. It lets everybody know you're a physician. I don't think I'd want that on my car. Your car would be targeted for scratches and, break-ins in, looking for drugs and all that kind of stuff.
In the UK, a lot of the vets, you could get special license plates with VET on it.
Oh, yeah?
You have to look for them, and people sell them.
Ah.
So they sell for hundreds of pounds. So it's just a combination of like letters or numbers that look like VET sometimes.
Yeah.
Like a V and a 3 or something like that. And they, as I said, they will sell out.
I try to go under the radar. When I first came here, I was amazed at how many people always wanted to call me by all these titles, and I was like, I have a first name, I think my father is probably turning over in his grave. Anyhow, it's taken 5 years to get people to use my first name, but I still get a lot of Dr. Margot. Well, we're closer to getting rid of the title, but
or Miss.
Oh yeah, see, now I'm not into that part, the Mrs. part.
I don't like the sir. The students call me sir, and I'm like, I'm 48 years old. I'm not sir yet.
Oh, I guess the word sir could have a different connotation here, couldn't it? Like Sir Humphreys or Sir Beckles. Yes.
Students. Bajan students. Do the Guyanese students say Sati? Do they say sir?
Yeah, all the time.
The Bajan students are very, very polite. Everything is so, yeah.
Well, that's, at least they're being polite, but who's to say what they're saying behind your back?
Yeah.
And what about you, Vin? Are you a Trinidadian, Vin?
Me? Yeah.
So what do the students here call you? Professor? No, consultant, so-and-so? No, Mr. That's what it is.
No.
They call you your worship.
They call me Oven. Remember, it's postgraduate, so we don't do undergraduate in emergency medicine. So the postgraduate stuff, a lot of people, even though they're younger than you, they are more or less your peers and your colleagues.
Yeah.
So, and in emergency medicine, even though there's a hierarchy, everybody works in the same area, sort of in the trenches together. So the relationships are a little bit more, familiar. So most of the times they'll call me by my name. The new ones that are coming in, or the ones who don't work in Mount Hope, might sometimes let inadvertent sir come in, at which point I stop them very quickly.
So the sir has nothing to do with respect then, it has to do with your age.
What I'm finding now is, yes,
Ooh.
as
I
I'm
meant
getting,
in comparison to them. I didn't mean I didn't mean you were old. I meant in comparison to
no.
them.
It's actually a good point. What I've actually been finding is that, like, the doctors that have been working with you for a long time are more familiar with you. The new ones, the green officers that are coming in, even when they start to get experience, they're still so much younger than you that they can't really help but call, sir and doctor and all this kind of thing.
I
As
mean,
long
in
as
the UK now. Sorry, go ahead.
I said as long as you answer to them. So Sati, before you go off to your case study review, is there any questions you had?
No, I'm actually working my way through the modules. I'm actually out of the country for the next 2 days, so I'll actually get some time to sit down and I'm going to Guyana for the weekend, so I'll get time to sit down and actually go through the modules, and the group's gonna probably start working on that. Or
so did you see? I sent you your link back to your Weebly account. Did you get that? Oh, he's frozen in time.
Frozen.
He's back.
Did you get the link to your account and your password?
oh yeah, I actually, even before you sent it to me, thanks. I actually got back into I managed to get back into Weebly, so I've saved it on my computer, so I don't need I actually didn't need to use it to get back in, but I actually put in 1 or 2 reflections in it, and actually I'm gonna try and work on it this weekend.
Good stuff. What about everybody else? Coming along?
Andrew. I did 7.
Come on, be a little bit more excited there, Michael. Come on, it's fun.
I did 7 and most of 8. Something I did. I did plan which one I was going to do. I thought the lecture you had to video was the first time you had to do it. I didn't realize there was a pre and a post. So I've already got the post.
No. The post is at the end, right? At the end of Cuddle altogether. At the very end. Way.
I can't do that because the Cuddle, I will have to do it in semester 1. So
are you not going to be around for semester 2?
No, but my teaching in semester 2, like I teach 2 courses, right? I teach more than 2, but I do reproduction. I'm a specialist in reproduction, but I do cattle. So we do cattle, all the farm animals in semester 1. That's year 1. And then we do horses and small animals in semester 2. I don't know anything about horses and small animals, but I've been forced to teach it. And this is something I've been arguing with the university about, because I get settled reports on my teaching in a course that I'm not particularly brilliant at, because the university can't afford to pay someone to come and teach it, right? I start off the lecture series in semester 2 saying, look, I don't know jack shit about small animals, but I'm about a step ahead of you all, and we'll go along, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't, we'll answer them together, right? But I'm not claiming to be an expert. And then you see questions in the settle questionnaire for students. Was the lecturer, really fluent in his work or what, something like that, which I'm admitting I'm not, right? And why should I be judged on something I don't know about, and I'm admitting that?
Well, that's a very good question. I have had to teach things that I know nothing about as well. And you're right. You're only a step ahead of the students. But when you're doing your post evaluation, in terms of looking at those evaluations, you shouldn't be looking at them as a collective overall thing. It's more about looking at either trends or looking at things very specifically that you can actually fix. So you can't fix the fact unless you want to go back to school, the fact that you're not a whatever in horses.
Yeah.
So there's not much you can do about that, but you might be able to do something about how you present the information, or whether you're using putting resources up for the students to use. All those kind of things are within your control, right? So usually when we talk about this in 5207, when we get to you to actually look at your course evaluations and to pick one or two things out of there that you can actually address, rather than you attempting to look at it as this whole big huge thing and it cumulatively adds up all the scores and gives you an overall score, when in actual fact, when you start to look at it, some of the areas you may have done exceedingly well in, and there might be one or two areas that are a little bit on the weaker side that you can very easily fix. And so if you want to get around this whole thing about working with your dean or your head of your department or whatever, it's when you start to look at your portfolio and you start having an action plan around, yes, this appears to be a problem. Like, for example, you've said that you would like a list of the assignments listed out. Okay, so I've written that down. And so I go and I look and I say, okay, so, and I will do it for you, of course, but I will go and look to see if anybody else has some comments around that and how we could work that better. So it's looking at what feedback students are giving you in a variety of formats, not just about that piece of paper. Okay. And hopefully your heads of department will get that. Your job is to have it laid out in a manner in which you can convince them that you are actually progressing on these courses and things are changing. Not necessarily about the score that you have or don't have because this university doesn't have a minimum score. So you could have a 1 or you could have a 5. No one says anything one way or the other. And so it's our job as faculty members to look at what our students are saying and then respond to those in a manner in which will help them. And the other thing you can do, and we do this in 5207 as well, is to show you how you can get feedback in different ways from your students. Like, this is one way to get feedback, right? But there's tons of other ways to get feedback as you're going along, so you can address problems sooner than later.
Yeah.
All right. Sati, any other questions? You have anything specifically?
No, not specifically, no.
All right. So
but I still have some things to go through in the module. So if I have any more questions, we'll address it next week.
You can always email. Okay, Kinsley and your colleague there, you guys have any questions?
All right, I have to go, so we'll talk.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So for us, we submitted our assignment last time, but we have not gotten any feedback from you.
I didn't hear the last little bit you said.
I said our assignment last time we submitted the course assignment, but we have not gotten any feedback from you.
Okay, so I probably already looked at it, and you probably already do have a grade on there. You probably just didn't know where to look. So I will go. I'm not saying 100% because you guys came in late that it's there, but I will show you where you find these things again. So when you go into your, so you can go into the grade book.
Okay.
And you can find your name. And it's okay to come in here now because there's nobody's grade in here. So you would be looking for, you go up here and you look for the orientation. And I see why there's nothing in here, why you can't find it. It's because I didn't put the little tag in here. So normally you can come in here and actually find the orientation, but I didn't tag it in there. So sometimes it's in the no grading period, which kind of gives you kind of an overall average. But I will fix that. So I didn't realize I hadn't done that. So you can come in here and find your, well, obviously yours is going to be the only name that comes up, and it will tell you how you're starting to do in the various courses. So right now, these are all the courses because I said all grading periods, right? But if I go into 5001 and September responds to your particular cohort, you can see all the different activities that are going to come along. Okay, that's one way to find your grade. if you want, and if I put something in here, you see, I'll just leave my little thing in here. So you see on the right-hand side of the box where a grade goes, you'll see a little dialog box. If that is highlighted, you will see that that means there's a message in there for you. So that's another way you can get the feedback that I give you, is from this perspective. You can also, go into, you can also go down into where the orientation or where the submissions are. Find your name. So you've submitted yours late. Well, that's what it's saying. So don't worry about if it says late or on time or whatever. The only time I worry about any of that is at the very end of the Cuddle program. And if you haven't submitted it on time, you move to what's classified as a behind group. And I will move people to that group depending upon where they sit, if things aren't in, because the rest of the group has to move forward. And you still get to move forward, but you're going to have to catch up with all the assignments because they're all connected together, right? So don't worry about what it says on here. But the system is designed to tell the instructor who's submitted correctly on time. So,
Marvel,
yep.
I have to head out.
Okay,
So,
bye, have fun.
all right.
Be good.
Bye.
Yes, bye.
Okay, so when you go in here, you'll see the grade up here. And you'll see that I put something in there, and that just means that I put a comment in there, and you should be able to see it. When I go in here, sometimes you have to actually hit enter. There you go. So I said, make sure you use the 5 questions on yours or something like that to do your portfolio. Now, you can see this, but because I didn't link this assignment to the main gradebook, you can't see it from the gradebook, but I will do that. Okay? So unless you heard back specifically from me that you're missing something or that you need to fix something or try this again, then you're good to go. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Anything else, anybody?
No, that's it. I gotta go as well.
Okay, so don't forget to, if you have any other questions, you can email me. We will be having more virtual sessions as we're going along, and the talks and the content changes depending upon what the needs of the people are. All right?
Okay, cool.
So I'll see everybody again soon, next Thursday, face-to-face. It'll be fun.
Oh, what time
Thank
we
you,
finish
bye.
next Tuesday?
We always finish it at 1. If you need to go, you can go. This isn't grade school where you have to ask for permission.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Okay, see everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. And